Hello everyone, welcome back to Simbright Fashion Academy YouTube channel once again today. Today's tutorial is going to be on an off-shoulder gathered sleeves with layers. So as you can see on the thumbnail right there, we have the off-shoulder sleeve, but this time around we have some gathers, gathered on top of it. So before we begin this tutorial, you need your off-shoulder basic long sleeve. So I have a detailed video on how to make an off-shoulder long sleeve on this channel. So you can see right here, I've come in with the fabric I want to make use of for this off-shoulder. So right here, I've already cut and added my seam allowance of 0.5 inch all over on top of the sleeves by the size of the sleeve. The length of the sleeve, as you see right here, stops in between the cap height and the biceps. Okay, so that is where I want it to stop. So it all depends on where you actually want the length of that sleeve to be, but it's from the sleeve head to the biceps, so you can get it up to the bicep. It all depends on you. Okay, so now I'm taking up this pattern, knowing that you have understood how this pattern is being cut right now. All right, so if you look at the fabric I want to make use of for this off shoulder gathered layers, you can see I've already drawn some line to it. So these lines I made right here from the sleeve head. This is the seam allowance. I came down by 0.5 inch because that is the seam allowance, and we are going to have the first gathers at the first layer, and the second layer I have 2 inches here, another layer 2 inches. So I'm having the lines at 2 inches, as you can see. So now we want to go over to the gathering. Okay, we will first of all gather this. I want you to also note that this sleeve we are making will have a lining, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'll just show you how to make the upper one with layers. Then you will cut exactly what we have on this sleeve to turn it around for a perfect inseam finishing. All right, so for the layers right now, it's just very simple. For the first layer, we are going to sew the first layer on this line. So I'm going to measure what I have on this line from end to end, and here you can see I have 12 inches. So at that 12 inches, I've already cut my strip of fabric, as you can see. So this strip of fabric I'm having right here is 7 inches. Once I fold it both, I'll be having 3.5. Okay, so if I fold it into 2, as you can see now, I will have 3.5 from here to here, and once I sew 0.5, I'll be left with 3 inches. But it all depends on what you actually want. If you want it after sewing, you have it at 4 inches. All you need to do is to have the layer at 9 inches. It means you are going to cut 9 inches. So it depends on you. This is a tutorial. I just want to show you how you can go about it. So what I have from here to here is 7 inches. You can increase it to 9 inches if you want it to be at 4 inches on fold. Okay, you can still make it 8 inches, so you have it when folded and sewn, you have 3.5 inches. So now the first layer, remember we measured 12 inches at this point. So I'm going to times 12 inches by 2.5. 12 inches by 2.5 for my gathers. What I mean is 12 times 2 is 48. If you add half of 12, that is 6 to 48. 12 times 2 is 24. If you add 6 to it, that is 30 inches. So what I have here is 30 inches length of fabric. Can you see? The width of the fabric is 7. The length is 30 inches. So I will go to my machine now. I'll fold it like this, and I'm going to run my loose stitches on top of it to come out with the gathers. Can you see? I'll come out with the gathers, and the gathers will be sewn right on top. If you need less gathers, to it, what it means, you can times what you have here by 2, so it doesn't gather too much as it is on the screen. So since I have 12 here, I can also gather 24 inches for the first layer, but I want us to start from the last layer to gather. Okay, so if you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this each week. Like this video, share to family and friends, and drop your comments on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Okay, so now we want to talk about sewing from the down part. We'll be sewing from the down part. When you are making layers, you have to start from the lower part, taking it up, then the last one covers the layers. So we have 2 inches gaps, which I've already drawn my line. So the first layer now is this, which I'm going to sew now. I'm going to measure what I have here. Here I have 17. So 17, I'll times it by 2.5. Okay, so 17 times 2 here is 34 already. Half of 17 will give us about 47 or thereabouts. Okay, so you can use your calculator to times it. So whatever line you measure, times by 2.5. Whatever line you measure, you can times by 2 or by 2.5. So here I have 17. If I'm going by timesing by 2, I will have a fabric of 34 cuts. So right now, I'll be gathering what I have here. The length of the fabric I have here is 17 times 2 for the purpose of this tutorial. So 17 times 2, I'm going to put it together, and I will go to my machine now. I'm going to gather. So I will gather it and bring it back for you to see before we sew it on the last layer. All right, so this is the first layer, and I've gathered my strip. So you can see the folded part, and this is the gathered part. So right here, I'll go over to the machine and I'll start sewing. Okay, I'm going to place it at the edge. Can you see? I'll place it at the edge and sew. Okay, so as I'm sewing now, I'm sewing on top of the gathers. I'll sew on top of the gathers till I get to the end. So let me quickly go and sew it. And as you are sewing, you also arrange your gathers so it's even on the sleeve. See, I've sewn the first layer. Okay, so you can see how I gathered it with the folded parts, and I gather on top. So next, I'm going to come in with my next gathers. I'll also go over to the machine, and I'm going to sew at the second line. So I'll sew it and also bring it back for you to see before the last layer is. We've sewn the first layer and we have sewn the second layer. So you can see that the sleeve is actually coming out. So the next I've done is to gather the last layer. So the last layer now, I'm going to sew right on top of where I have my gathers to cover up the last layer, as you can see. So I'll quickly go right now and sew the last layer, and I'll bring it back to show you what next to do. So now you can see my sleeves. Okay, I have the first layer, the second layer, and the third layer sleeve. So I want to advise, if you are working with this, please make sure you serge. Okay, before weaving, serge this area so you don't have the grains or the fabric coming out. You can weave them before you gather into the base. Okay, so this is it, and that is what you're expected to have. So the next you will do is, if you are working with a lining, just cut your lining, place on top of this, turn it around, and also turn around this area. That is the hem and the upper part. You turn them around if you are working with lining. Then if you are not working with lining, just go in and use your bias strip or cut out a piece of this fabric and turn around this part. That is what I'm going to do now. And on the hem, I'm going to fold the hem. Okay, I'm going to fold the hem part of this sleeve. Then later, I'm going to turn it around and close it up by the side. So let me quickly turn with my bias and then fold the under. All right, people, so now I've finished up the edges and I've finished up what I have here. So next is to fold this. Okay. Okay, I'm going to fold it, match up. Remember, we have the armhole part. This is the armhole part. That armhole part, we are going to leave it open. So the part I'm going to merge right now to sew is this part. I'm going to merge it together with what I have here. Can you see? So I'm going to stitch at this point. So after stitching it now, I'm going to turn it around and this part will be stitched on the armhole. So let me quickly stitch on top. But before I stitch, I'm going to turn around and hold down this pleat. Make sure you hold down this pleat so it will be easy to rest on top of the armhole. Can you see? I'm going to sew and hold down the pleats. Can you see? I'll also sew right here to hold down the pleats. I'll quickly do that and close up this part right now. Then I'll show you what it looks like. So now you can see I've held down the pleats, as you can see, and this is the armhole part of it, and I've stitched at 0.5, which is the seam allowance I added. So I'm turning around my sleeve right now. So this is the armhole part of the sleeve, and this is what we have on the thumbnail. So all you are going to do is, after making your dress, just attach your sleeve. Okay, attach it on the armhole part, as you can see. So I'm going to place this on the dress form. All right, lovely people, so right now you can see the final outlook of this beautiful off-shoulder sleeve. So actually you can see they are in layers of 3, just as we rightly sewn. So once you are done with this, all you are going to do is to sew into your bodice. Okay, and it's as simple as that. All right, so you can decide to hairstay if you wish. I mean, to hairstay your fabric before you sew, but make sure you weave the edges so you don't have grain lines coming out all around. Okay, all right people, so this is the sleeve and it's actually looking beautiful right here. Okay, so thank you very much for coming to this tutorial once again. If you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this each week. Like this video, share to family and friends, and drop your comments on the comment section as well. And thank you for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.